Continues. I said in my other video that they could use GAA grounds for communions and confirmations because reason one why because it's only 0.1% chance outside of catching COVID, and obviously it's outside venue and it's very spacious. So GAA ground is very spacious. There's a lot of space in a GAA ground. There's a lot of air basically. In some of the rural GAA, take for example in Ballyhills, Wet Hills, whatever. And then you have obviously Breffni Park and Cavan, which is very, very spacious, which could fit easily 500 children onto the pitch, and you'd be able to go up one by one and get your sacraments. And again, it could be easily done. 0.1% chance, very, very, very small chance. And again, they had the idea in Laois that they were going to send 300 children from 9 schools to get I think it was confirmation on the 28th of August, right? And you'd be like, that was a great idea. That was a great idea. It's something I said too. And I did pass it on to the Bishop of Kimore. That is, should be used, GAA ground should be used. But I don't know, they're going to listen to me. Probably not likely after this, what happened here in County Laois today. But yeah, basically, what was said, it's due to COVID, even though it's outside, 0.1% chance of it happening. 0.1% chance of catching COVID outside, and it's been proved with the World Health Organization and other organizations. It's been postponed until September due to the risk of COVID cases. It doesn't make sense. Really doesn't make sense because the 0.1 again is very, very small. Would understand. And again, churches. I keep saying it, but churches are very spacious. They're very spacious. They have big open windows in churches. Very, very spacious. Very, very spacious churches, and obviously a lot of ventilation because you have big, huge windows that can open. But again, Clown World, that's just putting it straight. But 300 children, again, going by the size, I looked up the GAA pitch beforehand. It's a big enough pitch. There's a stand where the probably would have been able to go up and get the confirmation to be able to go and sit down onto the pitch. Would be chairs laid out or whatever for them to sit down. Again, it's a good idea, but I don't blame the bishop here. The bishop in this instant, let me see, OT actually covered it. You think OT would have been said, it's a great idea. It is a great idea. It's probably the only way you could do it, due to this government that are just anti-Catholic and just don't like Catholics whatsoever. Like you've seen in Croke Park, other religions take favour. Other religions apparently can do whatever they want and go into any stadium and have whatever they want, and nobody bats an eyelash. There was nothing said about that, about COVID cases. Nothing was ever said about it. Even though it was 500 of them and there's only 300, so 200. Like the park they're talking about here has 7,000 capacity, or Moa Park in County Laois, 7,000 capacity. That's obviously full capacity. And you're talking about them sitting on the pitch or whatever. If that's what they would plan to do, it is very spacious. That is a very big pitch. Again, it's only 300. Very, very small crowd. I wouldn't mind if it was 10,000 or something like that. It'd be a very different kettle of fish. But it's only 300. Again, this is the thing. It's only 300. Take for example my local parish down here. There's 67 going for communion. For confirmation. And there's something like, I can't remember how many's going for communion. It's 50, 60 or 70 something for communion too. Very small. It's very small numbers. Probably 200 in total. If you add them all together, 200 something in total. But again, it is a big area. It's a big wide area. It covers the school, so it obviously would be a decent more than other areas in Cavan. But you have Kill, take for example in County Cavan, that is a very, very small parish, and I think maybe 2. There could be only 13 going for confirmation. I think there's only 3 going for communion. Again, they can't even have that, and it's nonsensical to totally be honest with you. 3 for communion. They could easily do that in the church. But again, it's just no common sense. Like, it's just no common sense whatsoever. But again, I don't blame the Bishop of Kimore, Dennis Newton. I don't blame him. The Bishop of Kildare, sorry, not Bishop of Kimore, sorry, Cavan. Sorry, Bishop of Cavan, sorry, I didn't mean to accuse you there, but again, he says government guidelines X, Y, and Z, but we all know the local authorities probably whinged about it. After there's concern for public health experts, school authorities, parents, and the GAA authorities, probably an effort probably got Dr. Tony Houlihan probably went down and complained about it. But again, Dr. Tony Houlihan, he seems to be very quiet now. He's gone very quiet after what happened with Catherine Sapone and the West, them going off on the jolly. He's not giving out to them. Like last time people went to South William Street in Dublin, he's fucking demonised. Like, you think they were after shooting somebody, to be honest, the way they were demonising them for having a few drinks. Even though, I will say this, the majority of them that went there didn't cause any harm. Some of them later and obviously things like that. That's obviously breaking the law and obviously should have been dealt with. But the people who were doing no harm, they were just having fun, were living life. And that's in my opinion, and that's really. But Dr. Tony Hoodham demonised them like they were the enemies of the state. Even though the politicians are the enemy of the state. But I understand the school authorities may be wasting concern to GAA. But again, there's people going to football matches. There's training going on. There's more people going to training. Like for example, in Cavan, there's a lot of young people going to training. There'd be more than 300 in some places going to training. For matches. If you take or even GAA matches, take for example any final. The Ulster final, whatever. Dublin versus Kildare, I think it was. That was played a few weeks ago. I can't remember, but I'm sure there was more than 300 there. If you take account the referees, the players, that's a good lot alone. And then you have a few fans in the stand too. Then you obviously have the sideline, the people in the sideline, you have the managers, you have the staff belong to them. You have easily probably 700, 800, 900. And again, 300 people in this case. It's just nonsense. It's really nonsensical. I can't get my head around it. Because it seems like logic, doesn't it? If you can't have it in the church, you know what? What's the next best place to have it? In the GAA ground. In the local GAA ground. But again, apparently RT and the media now have to just despise that. Because again, it's common sense, and I'm sure people would agree with me. It's common sense. Very spacious, very open. It's outside. Ticks all the boxes, really ticks all the boxes. As long as you have a good day. As long as it's a good day. Like you have a few good days in the week, you could get it done. You could get it done easily. Again, it's common sense. Really, really common sense. You couldn't have it in a community centre, for example, because it's inside the Windsor could inquire about that, the public health experts, and the local authorities. But it's outside. Again, this is what I have to stress. It's outside. Where there's fresh air and there's loads of ventilation because it's outside. And it's just nonsensical. Again, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But it seemed like they had a great idea. A similar confirmation ceremony was planned in Nolan Park in Kilkenny in early September. So basically, it's just saying people raise concern to parents, school authorities, local authorities, public health experts. Even though the public health experts, they had nothing to say about Croke Park when they went into Croke Park. But nothing was ever said about that, so they just didn't pass much remarks. Nobody ever cared about that. But apparently when there's 300, it's a different story. When there's 500 in Croke Park, it's a different story. It's nonsensical. It's nonsensical. Like, maybe you could do a confirmation for the whole of Dublin in Croke Park. Because it's that spacious. Like, my God, Croke Park is very big. I was in Croke Park twice. Look on a tour around it, and my God, it's big. It's big, like Jesus Christ. You can nearly have 3 confirmations going on at once, and then you can have them going in the queue, like the vaccination centres. You're just sending people in, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But again, it can be done. Like on the south side of Dublin, the Croke Park, you could have a confirmation going on. Straight in front, you could have a confirmation. Behind this side, you could have it all split it easily, done. And then obviously the other side you could do it. Who's 16? Who's 16? You could do it. Like you could have 4 confirmations going on once because it's that spacious. It's very, very big. And compared to the other GAA parks, maybe in Dublin. And it could be done easily. You could have 1 done every hour. You can have 4 done every hour. Would be an idea. Like the vaccination centres. It doesn't make sense because there's hundreds of people going into the vaccination centres. And it doesn't make it really, if you ask me, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't add up. Like, let's be fair here. I'm trying to see the logic here, but it doesn't make sense. A few minutes ago, they were like, everything's fine outside, it's all safe, everything's safe, outdoor dining can happen, X, Y, and Z, everything's safe. GA matches can happen, big concerts can happen. The electric picnic was captured by Lee County Council, they didn't want it, and before the gets, they said no. But again, it's not that. If Laois County Council didn't vote against it, they would have probably just went ahead and the government were like, oh, that's fine. No, we have no trouble with this. But again, great, it's just a great country. Well, they could have had it in the Merriam Hotel. Again, that's a great idea. They could have had it in the Merriam Hotel. Catherine Savone could have paid for it. But we all know who paid for it at the end, the taxpayer. But yeah, it's just a great country, isn't it?